The Nets made a mistake. They made a mistake in being too impatient. I understand that the drama around the Nets was a lot. It was a lot to handle. But I was looking at this the other day, and it kind of caught me by surprise. But then I ended up remembering, and I'm like, yeah, this is exactly how it happened. The Nets brought in KD and Kyrie the same year the Clippers signed Kawhi and traded for Paul George. Yep. In those 4 years, the Clippers they blew a 3-1 lead, the Clippers did, the first year together. Western Conference Finals lost, Kawhi got hurt. Their third year missed the playoffs, Kawhi missed the entire year, Paul George was unhealthy too. And then they lost in the first round, Kawhi was hurt. In all those seasons, Steve Ballmer could have pivoted, and he could have said, we're just going to cut our losses, and this is not going to work out. But what Steve Ballmer understood that Joe Tsai, the owner of the Nets, didn't understand is that having superstar talent on your team is rare. And it doesn't come around often where you actually have real championship expectations, especially if you're a franchise like the Clippers or the Nets. The Nets, since they signed Kyrie and KD, first round loss, but KD did not play the entire season, and Kyrie was out, only played 20 games and then missed the entire year.
He was nuts in that 20 games.
So the first year was essentially a redshirt year for them.
Yep.
Their second year, they lost in the second round. KD was historic. Harden and Kyrie were hurt. That's probably the biggest reason why they lost. You can point to that point in time. Their third year together, first round loss. Harden was traded midseason. Kyrie and the COVID stuff and the stuff about anti-Semitism, that was brought up, and there was a lot of controversy around the team. Harden was only with the Nets for 1 year. And then in their fourth year together, Kyrie gets traded and KD gets traded. This is only a team that was together for 2 years. The duo of KD and Kyrie were only together for 2 years. They were only fully healthy for one playoff run. And Harden was only there for a year. It's too impatient. It was too impatient. They sold on players, and now they're stuck. Where at least if you extended Kyrie Irving, even if it was a little bit too much, that now assures that you have Kevin Durant on the roster. You maybe could have tried to make James Harden somewhat happy, even though I think he probably was already set on leaving. But even then, with Kyrie and KD and Claxton and how he's ascended, Cam Thomas coming off the bench, who's a great player, I think, especially for a bench role in the spark plug. I mean, the Nets would have still been contenders in the East right now. And they were too impatient, and they sold off. And now we see the Clippers, they tried for years to figure this thing out. They found the missing piece in James Harden, and now they're one of the favorites in the West, and this is the healthiest they've looked. Steve Ballmer remained patient. There were times where he could have given up, but he wasn't like Joe Tsai, and he saw the bigger picture, and that's why the Clippers, hopefully this year, can be rewarded for that patience.
And they definitely, and over the course of the years, you've seen the Clippers continue to build around the stars, even if they are hurt. You know, Norman Powell, Marcus Morris at a point, Batum. They brought in Robert Covington. Zubac. They brought in Westbrook. They had Zubac. Like they've always
Mason Plumlee.
They brought in Daniel for some short time. PJ Tucker. They brought. Yeah. So they've always found a way to not only outsmart the Nets in terms of just, you know, keeping guys around the stars, even though they're hurt, we're going to build guys. Reggie Jackson, I can't forget him. We're going to continue to build this roster as if they are here. They continue to bring in and plug in guys. The Nets just kind of are like, nah, we're not going to do it. So that's a great point, bro.
How many times did we say when they traded Kevin Durant? At least I said, you're responsible now for trading James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. We should all look at you, point, and laugh.
It's not the best look. Do you think it's a little bit different, though, because of kind of the route Kyrie took at first, and then once Kyrie was off the team, KD was like, all right, what am I doing here compared to the Clippers, where Kawhi and Paul George, they might have been hurt, but there wasn't at least drama around them, contracts wanting to be in LA.
I think the difference, and that's a great point, Dels, I think the difference is that Kawhi and Paul George, to me, it feels like they're always on the same page.
I agree.
They
PG
understand,
always follows Kawhi.
Yeah, they understand what they want.
I get it.
They understand what they want, and they work together.
You know, Kawhi is a robot.
Kawhi's different.
Yeah, when
He's
he in the
different.
mode, you know, listen, that's PG has came out multiple. That's our guy. He's a leader. When he needs me to step up, I will. Kyrie wasn't really given that. Kyrie gives. I'm the best player in the room.
Yeah,
no
I mean,
matter
we
what
know.
room I walk
Listen,
in.
Kyrie's had issues in different places.
It's been a wild
Hopefully
card.
He's had an issue with LeBron, so I can't expect he wouldn't have issues with anybody.
could've
And I
else.
think
Boston.
that's the biggest difference is that Harden left because of Kyrie not getting the vaccine, which is a personal decision. But Harden left because Kyrie wasn't playing and KD was hurt and Harden had a backpack and he was like, I did this in Houston. I don't want to do this in Brooklyn. I want to go and I want to compete. Because for Harden, he was and still is desperate for a championship. KD has won.
Window's
Kyrie has
closing.
won. They don't need it no more. That's why the Clippers is a great fit. And that's why the Sixers were too, because Joel Embiid wants a championship. Kawhi wants another one. Paul George wants his first. Russell Westbrook wants his first. Tyronn Lue wants to win without LeBron. So I think it's just a better environment. Kyrie Irving was a wild card. Really was.
Kevin Durant and Kyrie won another.
Remember,
I
they
know,
came
but
together.
they already
'cause
have one.
wanted
It's
to-
not as desperate as Harden.
I think
He
KD
knows.
wants his one
He
without
knows.
He
Steph,
does.
just like Steph won his.
Nah,
without
I think
does, but
KD.
KD's at a point now where it's like, I just want hope.
There's
I
no
think he's followed
player.
his
There's
legacy.
no player that's content with what they just have,
Anthony
unless you're
Davis,
done.
remember he came out with that.
He said he has nothing left to prove, but that doesn't mean he's not hungry still.
That's a good point.
point.
But I
like
do
that.
think like Harden was just desperate, and he was with the Nets, and he looked around and said, "Y'all are just fucking around. Like y'all are just wasting my time. You guys are not focused
said
on
Kawhi.
playing ball." And Harden just got sick of it, and that's why he requested a trade.
Tried Embiid first.
and that's why I feel like
Kawhi's better.
Yeah, for sure.
Harden was the one that I feel like if they could have convinced him to stay, if Kyrie and KD had those conversations, like, listen, right now it's kind of rough, but you know, Steve
Maybe
Nash
still
is going to
gotta
get up
keep
out of here
Claxton,
soon.
too.
You know, they could probably convince him to stay. I think, you know, they probably would have won a championship or had a great chance at winning one.
And also, probably hiring Steve Nash probably wasn't the best situation to have all of these superstars who have had egos, who've had issues in the past with, you know, either the cities they're in, other teammates, vaccines. There's so much shit going on. Steve Nash being a first-time head coach, although legendary NBA player, don't know if he was the perfect coach to be put in that
Great with Golden
situation.
State.
He was. And Jacques Vaughn, I mean, it's tough. It's hard to imagine a coach that could be put on this Nets team and they're not fired within a couple of seasons. The talent just isn't there. And it's going to be hard for them to obtain more talent, as you guys mentioned, not having your draft picks. And your best player is Mikal Bridges. And I understand on one end, you need to sell somebody to the fans and to potentially other free agents saying, listen, we got a guy we think can be that dude. We don't think he could be the number one, as you mentioned, Drew. But you have Mikal, who could be, you know, a number two, maybe on an ECF team if you got a lot of good players around him. I'm speaking just the perfect situation
being
or
so
best
nice.
case
He's
scenario.
number
Realistically,
three.
yeah, number three.
You know what's crazy?
Maybe four.
Jacques Vaughn went from having Kevin Durant and them being like a top 3 seed in the East just last year, probably like towards the December, January mark.
Until KD got hurt, it
Yeah,
ruined
then he
everything.
got
January.
hurt, and they was rolling, they was doing their thing, and now he got fired. That's like crazy.
Remember
how
those
life works.
conversations that without KD, Kyrie would be able to keep this team afloat?
Who said that?
Remember those? Just
a
just
guy
at the
to
table.
my left?
Just at the table.
Remember when you said Tatum was better than Luka?
stand on that. We're here.
Yeah, I get it. Nah, it is what it is. You know, the Nets team it's going to be hard to rebuild that team, but they've done it before.
Claxton's a free agent, too.
Yo, if Tatum wins an
Yeah,
MVP before Luka Doncic.
You think it's going to be this
I'm
year?
just asking you a question. What did we do there?
Yo, there's been some
I don't
pushing
know.
for Tatum
what
over All-Star
what did we just do
Weekend.
there?
For real?
I like it.
So you
I feel like
base
a lot of
who you
outlets
think's better
have been
off
pushing
accolades?
it.
I'm just wondering. I'm asking you a
Maybe in
question.
He said he was the best player in the league.
I think
Or-
Luka is
forgot who
Luka
was he
still.
in.
Which
Oh.
doesn't change my
Like
opinion.
Andrews interview.
And I
He
think
got a
Luka
lot.
got a better chance to win MVP.
But he should
Oh,
think
really?
that.
Yes.
Of course.
He better
No,
keep
he shouldn't
climbing
think
those
anything
standings.
He will.
That's
I
all
think
he said. Tatum just said that every time I step on the court, I feel like I'm the best player.
I feel like everybody says that.
Which, if you're a
have
superstar
to.
in the league,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to feel that
You know,
way.
Unless
you know,
you're
Jacques
Giannis.
Vaughn.
Then
Another
Giannis
thing
says other shit.
I want to
Giannis doesn't
criticize
watch
Jacques
the league.
Vaughn on.
He's a lot.
Jacques Vaughn came into the season building the offense with the Nets around Ben Simmons.
I did see that. I don't know if that's
not
I
see
don't
that
know if that's true
Genius.
because
Who
Ben
reported that?
he didn't even
Terrible.
start the year
It
with
was
them.
Or did he
I
like?
think it was on
press
ESPN.
conference?
It was Woj.
He started healthy.
Yeah.
He started healthy.
So here's the thing.
He only played like 12
When
games.
Ben was on the court,
They had motion consistency.
it was lit.
Yeah, they were good. They were solid.
Can I
It
pull up
was
the
lit.
PvP numbers?
Yes, you could. Ben was really good.
Let me do
It sucks that he got hurt.
No, Drew.
But building your offense around a player that is injury prone is crazy.
I understand his playmaking was so damn good. He's not a scorer. We know this. But his ability to facilitate an offense and let it go. Talk to me because the PPP.
So their record with Ben Simmons this year is 6-6.
Okay, which is perfect because when he's on and off, they're the same team. So 115 on, 115 off. So that's beautiful. Defense, 116 on, 118 off. So it's nothing.
Not drastic.
6-6 makes perfect sense.
Yeah, they're an average team.
Yep.
They're an average team.
There we go. Now let's look at Mikal Bridges. Let's have some fun here.
God bless Mikal Bridges. Also, kind of getting shit on by
honestly.
Kind of getting shit on by Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson on their podcast. Kind of nuts. Like
he was just sitting there and just.
They were basically saying like the Knicks own the Nets, like, and he's not really wrong. But also, if I'm a Nets fan, this is my franchise player. You're not even gonna be like.
I think Mikal just wants out.
I think he wants to be in New York.
Like if I'm him, I'd be like, well, shit. I mean. When's the last time y'all got out of the second round? It's been the same time for you know what I mean? Like I would say something.
Like, can any of y'all guard me?
Because at heart, Mikal is still a son.
Is it?
He may be still a Villanova.
Okay, he probably felt like he was just with the boys.
So you guys want to hear his
sure.
On the court 115, off the court 117. They actually get better when he gets off.